Ahoy, salty dogs! Welcome back to StarMade. I am Lenscap, and today we're doing more work on Project Titan. We're continuing work on the frigate-class ship. I still don't really have a name for this ship. I'm not sure that I will until we're much, much closer to being finished with it. But let's go ahead and get started with our project for today. There were no live streams for this week, so I don't really have any updates for that. So sorry guys, my schedule wouldn't let me do any live streams or anything this week. So this elevator, I think what we want to work on today is getting some of these internal rooms ready to go. So I think the first place we'll start is where we enter. So we're going to start with this elevator, work out a little like containing room for this. That'll be step one. We're going to make hallways. We can even do some symmetry, honestly. Because they're going to be pretty similar on either side. I figure on one side we'll have berth for the crew. And on the other side we'll have maybe like a mess hall kind of thing. I think in the middle... in the front, in the middle, we'll have a little med bay, just a basic little med bay, and then aft, we'll have some engineering area. I think that is pretty good kind of interior for us. I do think what we'll do up here, I decided we're gonna do escape pods, and the captain's quarters are gonna be accessed from the bridge. I'm not quite logistically sure how I'm going to do that yet, so maybe we'll save those two rooms or one of those rooms for another video. We'll see. But let's get started with today. I think we'll start with at least getting the layout of the rooms, and then we'll probably decorate at least some of them. We may not get to engineering yet. It's going to be a pretty big room, because we got to incorporate our reactor and stuff like that. But I think that'll be a really fun project when we get there. We may even get there today. Who knows? I don't know yet. I'm just kind of making it up as I go today. I'm going to put down some blocks, and we'll do our usual like progress update kind of stuff. Maybe we'll build together a little bit. Again, I don't know what we're going to do really. Just making it up as we go. Cool, so just like the elevator at the top, let's see, where is the elevator? Okay, it's at the top, so we want to test it from the bottom. It's the same. There's an area trigger. When you walk near the elevator, it should call the elevator. And then, yep, here it comes. And when the elevator gets down here, the door, so here comes the elevator. Perfect, and then the door lowers, allowing you access. So you hop in. And I should put a gravity block here, probably. And so we'll tap that. Now we're on the elevator. It's kind of jerky because we're not in the proper gravity. But we'll ride it up to the top. Now that we're at the top, the door opens again. Piece of cake. Alright, let's clean up that room a little bit. It needs to look much, much nicer than being open to space, for sure. Alright, little bit of work done. It's looking pretty good. Let's float down here and call the elevator. We're up in the bridge right now, so I'm liking this, though. It's feeling pretty industrial and looking relatively... We might need to do something about this little hallway area. I never did really finish this, did I? Yeah, we may need to do something about that. So, let's see. I threw some gravity and stuff around. Okay, I'll have to think about that. Let's ride the elevator down so we can see what the room is going to look like. I haven't really looked at this yet, except for, obviously, when I was building it. It's not a big room, but I think it's looking good. So there'll be like a door here and a door here. Maybe I'll block those off. I gotta figure out something to do about these pipes here. But, okay, and I got these pipes in the ceiling. I want it to feel kind of tight quarters, you know? I want it to feel a little bit crowded, a little bit cramped, so to speak. Maybe this door is only too wide? Maybe all these doors are only too wide. If we're trying to make it feel tight and crowded, that would kind of make sense. I mean, who needs a 3-meter wide doorway? That's pretty crazy anyway, so... yeah, that's definitely something we could do. Maybe we drop it down to even 1. But 2 feels more reasonable, just because of the nature of this game. Uh-oh. Okay, that could be an issue. But easily fixed. We just need to add... oh, maybe not easily fixed. Unless we swap out this block. Whoops. Unless we swap out this block with something that can be 3/4 slab, which we could... oh, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Okay, we're going to have to fix that. But that's why we do these walking tests. So I added this little detail. I thought this was kind of cool. It's like a little inset place thing. But I put these as wedges, like maybe it's broken. I don't know. I thought it was kind of neat. Tell me what you think of that little detail. One thing I need to work out is what can I do to make the wedged areas a little bit more interesting. Like, I tried to put this pipe in front of it. We just don't have a lot of, like, decorative wedge blocks. So, I'm not sure there. I might be able to use these grates in some way. That could do it. The creative thoughts are flowing to me. Alright, so I'm going to work on some more things, and we'll check back in for another update shortly. So just doing another quick walkthrough of some things. I'm not sure... I just wanted to look at them, kind of walking around. I moved these down to 2x3 size. I think this is a lot more reasonable. I can add rail doors in here and have plenty of space. I was going to have these go out to crew quarters and mess and stuff, but I think I'll do something different. I switched those from 2x3 and was like, oh man, that makes this door way huge, so how can I adjust this one? So I split it into 2 hallways, and I think this works way better. So we can go down one hallway and have medical on one side, and go down the other hallway and have our crew kind of area, so like our mess hall, our dining quarters, and like our bathrooms and stuff, down this way. And then the hallway kind of splits, giving us a little bit more room to do that in. I made this hallway a little bit longer. I don't know what purpose it serves to have the hallway a little bit longer, though. We might shorten it. There's not really a reason to have a long hallway here. I also might move this back 1 block. It's a little bit tight here, although it's the same width as everywhere else. It just feels kind of tight. Maybe not, though. It's okay. Seems fine. Not that big of a deal. I want it to feel tight, so that works. I don't have a lot of decoration going on. I need some lights over here as well. That's mainly what I was looking at. Trying to decide if I liked the hallways, if I needed, more lights, which I definitely need some more lights down here. What can I do in this kind of dead space here? I was thinking maybe thrusters would look okay. I don't really have thrusters in the floors or in the ceilings like I like to do, so that definitely could be something. I solved this problem by changing the way the door is shaped, and I just put a gray block there and moved our fans on the other side, so that fixed that. Here, I'll show you. So as the door raises, it just fits right in there, slides right in, and that seems to work just fine. Can't really fall in these holes anymore, not really anywhere we can get stuck, so I like that. I don't think you can accidentally get through this broken part. Does that look broken, though, or is that just silly? I can't decide. Even if it doesn't look broken, I still think it's an interesting detail, so maybe I'll leave it. I think that's okay. I just gotta figure out, next I think we gotta figure out how we want to do the medical bay and the crew quarters, and then, gosh, I don't know what to put on these sides here now, since I'm moving that stuff down the center. Maybe they'll just be a straight shot to an airlock or something. Yeah, I mean, that could be okay. I thought something was weird. My field of view, for some reason, is way low. It's only 85. I'm gonna bump this up a little bit. Cause I was really like, I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, that feels much better. That might even be a little bit too wide, but yeah, that's way better. I was like, oh, it's so tight. I hate this. Why does everything feel so crowded and tight? Oh, this is much better. So I had this interesting hump here at the top of the ship, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. And I decided this would be a pretty cool place to have, like, the ceiling of our galley, of our place where everybody meets and eats together on the ship. So I filled it with crystal armor, and I really dig this. I think this is a cool idea, and I think we're going to roll with it. I've got to figure out how to get, though, from one of these hallways to way up there. I could use another elevator, but that kind of defeats the purpose, so I'm not sure what to do yet. But I think what I'm going to do, at least for now, is try and figure out some more about what this structure is going to look like on the inside. Go ahead and maybe build the galley up here. And then once I've got it, I'll figure out how to get actually to it. I think that's going to be the way to go with this. But I think this is too cool to pass up. This is too cool of a place to not kind of take this idea. So the concept is solid. The execution maybe needs a little bit of work. But we've got a galley. It's kind of silly. Like, it's definitely, there's some more I could do in here for sure, and I'm not quite sure where to take it just yet. But we've got a table, seats 6. There's like a soda machine, right? Salt, pepper, ketchup, the essentials, and like a little, like, grab a tray and maybe some seasoning salts or something, and we got some kind of food items. That one looks a little moldy. I don't know. But, salad on a pirate vessel. Sure, like, there's probably health-conscious pirates. I mean, we've got diet soda, so. And mac and cheese, my favorite. So, there's our thing. I'm probably going to put lights on that side. I must have missed that. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot that needs to happen in this room. It's really plain and pretty boring, but it's kind of silly. Like, I like a couple of the details here. So, like, this kind of hood over the kitchenette area. I'm happy with this. I like this pretty well. I used the corner lights as like a support. I think that worked out really well. I don't know if you can actually walk behind there, but it doesn't matter. Little refrigerators. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. The lighting is pretty good on the food bits. I really like the soda machine. I think that'll have to go in whatever. I'll probably redo the galley, though. I'm not super happy with this, but I wanted to get a concept for size and location in the ship, and that's what we got. So we'll probably revisit this room before we call the ship finished, but yeah, that's not too bad, I guess. That's not so bad. Okay, now how are we gonna attach it to the rest of the place? Because we got tons of room here still. Maybe we do. How can we get into this room? That's gonna be the big question. I think what I might do is end this hallway in a ladder. And oh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, that's fine, whatever. I'll fix that in a second. So maybe end this hallway in a ladder so you can, like, climb up, or jump, really, in StarMade, into, like, the crew berth, where they sleep and shower. And then from there you can go into the galley some way. I think that's probably the way it's going to work. And then that way this can have a little bit of hallway to get past where the ladder is. And then this whole space can be medical bay. I think that'll work the easiest, and that'll be probably the best way to lay out our floor plan. So what's next? I think we'll do probably the ladder and the crew berthing area next, and then we'll crack on over to the med bay. Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit this room, but it's kind of silly. I don't know. I might leave it. I'll wait and see what you guys think. When in doubt, throw cargo containers all over the room. It makes it look so much better. That's all I needed was some clutter. Let me know what you think. Man, I sure am taking a long time to get this video up to you guys, and I am so sorry about that, with changes at work, and I've been sick and stuff. This video is just taking me forever to get finished. But I do this for fun, so it's as long as I'm having fun, right? I could not, for the life of me, think of a way to get this to work that I was happy with, so I'm not doing it right now. Instead, I'm gonna work on something different. I thought we could move back here and add in like a little cargo bay area. It's a pirate ship, so we gotta have a place to keep our booty. I mean, all of our ships are pirate ships, so we need at least some cargo storage. And I figured on this rig, we could have a little bit of storage in the ship, but we could definitely have room for a cargo pod should we end up plundering a pod from another player. Plundering a pod from another player. That sounds like a great alliteration to me. So let's lay down some framework and get an idea for what this pod area is going to look like, and and work off of that. So we're going to have to come out of this area right here. I mean, I don't guess we have to, but I want the pod area right here. The pods are 9 by 9 by 17, so I think we'll make it 11 by 11 by 19, just to give ourselves a little bit of clearance, at least where the doors will go. We are going to have doors on rails. I think that'll be an interesting feature. And we'll have to have a little area inside where we can put some cargo actually in the ship. I think that'll be important. We're also going to need some sort of airlock mechanism. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I think we'll be able to come up with something cool. All right, let's get to the drawing board and see what we can do about this kind of stuff. All right, so here's the internal cargo hold of our ship. Let me get rid of our HUD actually. Before I do that, I should turn on light mode. I wanted to show you guys it in the dark because I haven't added the lights yet. So this is what I've seen so far, and I don't know how we're gonna do the lights, but we're definitely gonna do some lights. All right, so let's turn on lighting so we can kind of look at some of the things I did. Wow, that looks really different with lighting on. All the grates look black instead of gray. That's pretty interesting. Okay, but whatever. Here's our shape. You can kind of see I've got these areas down here. I always try and add some depth and stuff. And in the walls, I put these two kind of filtration areas or something. I might get rid of that one fan right there. It doesn't really make sense. Or add another thing above it. I don't know. It's nothing set in stone yet. So, these are the top of jump drives. I'm gonna use those for the floor for where our cargo goes. I just wanted a different kind of shape and texture, and I think that works out okay, for that. Not a problem at all. I want to do some stuff up in the ceiling area. I don't necessarily want to put a bunch of stuff in the ceiling, although we may end up doing that, some girders or something. But I want to do scaffolding or something. Give it a reason that there's this kind of ladder that goes down, other than we wanted some depth change. But basically, from this gray stripe up, we can do scaffolding, arches, and maybe some pipes and stuff. Just to add a little bit more of, it's the inside of a working spaceship kind of feel. So, but I think it's coming along. I think it's looking pretty good. We gotta get lighting still and another decorative pass, and I think we'll be done with this area. And then maybe we can start on how we're gonna do the cargo pod. At first I was gonna do its own little room, but then I was thinking back to the way I've got my miner set up, and I don't think I have one right here. Let's see if we can spawn one in real quick. We can take a look at how that is. That one was called... what did I call that? The pickpocket, I think? And this is actually the combat variant of our pickpocket class. So I don't have the mining variant, but on this save, but it works just fine for what we're trying to do. We just want to look at this. So if we look at this one, it's kind of open where the cargo pod goes, right? So maybe we'll do something like this, where it's like protected with armor plates. I think that actually is really cool. That gives a lot of depth to our build, and it would make sense given that, you know, we have less like superfluous blocks that way, and you kind of add some depth, give us some mounting points for turrets or something like this. But we may just copy this entire section as it stands here and move that to this ship. In fact, we could even put the pickpocket or the lockpick part, that's this forklift, we could put that bit as well. Although I don't anticipate really, I wasn't planning on having that, but I mean, that wouldn't be a problem. I don't know, I'll have to think about that some more, but I'm going to go ahead and make another pass with decoration, and we'll see what we come up with once that's finished. Alright, so I think I pretty much have it worked out, at least the cargo area. Let's astronaut mode, hop down there, and walk around and take a look at it. Our elevator, beautiful elevator. It works great. I'm really pleased with this elevator. I think it's fantastic. Not to toot my own horn, actually exactly to toot my own horn. I love this elevator. Okay, so anyway, so we come through here, and I'm just looking for anything that's weird or impossible or, you know, like that. This looks cool. There's what I did for the atmosphere thing. This is a trick I totally stole from Serge. Check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description, or he's somewhere you can search for him. I don't know. But I totally stole this idea from Serge. He said use water as a like force field, and I think it's great. If you want to make it impenetrable or at least armored, okay, I was afraid of this. This is a problem. I can't actually get to my ladder, so we may need to extend this out one block further, which is fine. Let's just hop over for now. If we hop down here, yeah, it's a small little cargo bay, but it's big enough. We're going to be able to have a cargo pod through this door as well. So yeah, you can totally just walk through water, so it's not a problem. So I feel like that works out great. I like the blue kind of glow around here to kind of give you a sense that there's something weird happening, and then the color of the water makes it feel like a force field. Alternatively, you could just use blue force fields, and then turn them on and off, but if you do that, you don't have like this permanent barrier. At least it doesn't feel as much like a barrier. At least when the force fields are turned off. One thing that I've seen people do along these lines, like Jace Machine in particular does this, is he'll make his barriers like this 3 layers deep. So he'll do a layer of water, and then a blue force field, and then another layer of water. And what that accomplishes is it makes it so that you can't walk through the water, or you can walk into the water and you encounter the force field and you get stuck there. You stop there. So if somebody's trying to board, you know, they can't get through your force field. And then you can, of course, like, turn it off with R or E or whatever your key binding is. And then the water prevents you from actually being able to see the force field, so you can't really tell it's there. Which is a pretty good way to do it. In this situation, like, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, this is a weak spot for sure for boarders if we get boarded, but they still have to contend with the elevator, which I guess is automatic? I don't know. I'll have to think about that a little bit. The ceiling I kind of left plain, and I think it works okay. Like, doing our walk-around tour, I didn't really notice that it was missing anything. When I think about doing decorations like this, like the scaffolding and the pipes and stuff, I try to avoid just throwing up scaffolding and pipes and stuff. I want them to do something, right? So I put this scaffolding here, and then I was like, okay, I like the scaffolding, but what is it doing? So I needed to invent a reason for there to be scaffolding there. So I added the air filtration system. And I was like, okay, well that lets me have pipes behind it. So that gives me a good way to make some depth. But it's doing something. It's supporting this air filtration system. So it has a purpose. It's not just scaffolding for the sake of scaffolding. Okay, well, that's about all the time I have, honestly, for this episode. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like the video, there's that handy-dandy little thumbs up button that you can click if you want to. It's all completely compulsory. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but I appreciate likes and stuff. And I guess we'll see you guys next time. Oh, I am doing a Twitch live stream if you're watching this when it comes out tomorrow, which would be Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Tune into that if you can. I don't know if we're going to be playing StarMade yet, but we are going to be playing something. Stay tuned.